we are, Bonfire Banter. We are so excited tonight to bring you Matt Kissane. Matt, why don't you take it away?
Thank you. Thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate that. How about everybody making me feel welcome here? On the count of three, everybody just kind of go, hi, Matt. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Matt!
Not bad. Let's do it again. A little bit louder now, a little bit more energy. Everybody on the count of three, just kind of go, hey, Matt, nice penis. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, here we go.
Hey, nice penis!
Thanks, guys. Thank you, sir, that guy over there. Appreciate that. I want to do a quick impersonation for you guys right now. I've been working on this all week. This is the airport scene from the movie Rain Man. How many of you guys, by a round of applause, remember Rain Man, the movie?
Yeah.
Classic movie. Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise. So this is the airport scene now. I've been working on this all week. I hope you guys appreciate the work that has gone into this impersonation. Airport scene from Rain Man. Here we go. Okay, Ray, are y'all set? We got to go get on the airplane. Ah! Thank you very much. Airport scene from Rain Man. Thank you. Thank you all for that. I know a lot of you guys are probably looking at me right now and you're trying to remember what's the name of that celebrity that Matt looks like. You know, I'll take the hat off. Look at that. And a lot of people used to say I look like that actor Brian Dennehy. I don't know if you guys remember Brian Dennehy. And I used to think that was really cool until he played Gacy. So what the? Hang on. Gacy? Speaking of Gacy, how many Beatle fans out there do we have? I got a lot of... You like that smooth transition from a serial killer into the greatest band of all time. Okay. So it was funny because I was watching a documentary on the Beatles not too long ago, and they were interviewing Paul McCartney about the origins of the song Hey Jude. It was great because Paul was just like, you know, back in the 60s, we were all just sitting around at a party. We were all just taking Quaaludes, you know, so I just kind of got on the piano. I was just like, Quaalude, I want some lewd. And then John was like, it's a good one, but you can't sing Quaalude on the radio, especially back then, you know. So we just switched it up to Hey Jude, you know. We didn't even know anyone named Jude. I'm proud to say this past week, we got some sort of sad news, but Tom Brokaw, the great news anchor, announced his retirement from NBC after 55 years. Nice hand for Tom. Wow. Come on, good on. And I'll tell you something. This is a true story. When I was a kid, we lived out on the East Coast for a few years, and I actually was an intern at NBC News for Tom Brokaw. Not a lie. But I did find out that Tom is not all the way retired. He's just retiring from NBC. From what I understand, he's going to be doing bingo nights in South Dakota. He's where he's from. Tom is going to be on YouTube, a YouTube feed. And I saw his very first initial bingo calling last week, and it was quite impressive. It was just like, all right, the next ball is B6. B as in Beirut. 6. Our next number is N42. N is in Nicaragua. 42. All right, our next number coming up is G73. G as in Galooly. As in Jeff Galooly. You guys remember when Jeff Galooly got in all that trouble for bashing Nancy Kerrigan's legs? Remember that? It's kind of funny because Tom really couldn't say his last name. He was just like, and in other news, Jeff Galooly was pronounced guilty today in court. We'll have more on that story coming up. Then they get to the break. Is it okay if I just say Tanya Harding's boyfriend? I can't really say Galooly, you bastards. I'm a Chicago guy. I was born in Chicago. How many round of applause Chicago guys out there? Girls. You can always tell when you're around Chicago guys, no matter where you're at, if you're like waiting online to get on a line, a ride at Disneyland, or if you're, it doesn't matter, you can always tell if there's a Chicago guy around you. You know, New York's, they got their thing, but we got our own thing. Right, Chicago guys? Yeah! Let me give you a quick example of what I'm talking about. You know, in proper English, you might say, my, the lady looks lovely this evening. Chicago guy would go, hey, that broad's got a great ass. Let me give you another quick example. In proper English, you would say, the man had been impaled. The man had been impaled. The Chicago guy would go, hey, somebody stabbed that fucker. All right, number 3, last one. In proper English, you would say, thank you. In proper English, you would say, I don't feel very well. Chicago guy would go, I got a shit. Thank you. I'm available for kids' parties. Thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know. I'm recently single, and I've been spending some time on these dating websites, eHarmony and Plenty of Fish, and also Match.com. And I'm not sure, but I'm seeing some profiles on there that might not be legit. The other day I was on looking at this lady, and she seemed really friendly and everything. And I don't remember her name, but her occupation said psychiatrist, and then right underneath it said education, some college. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that you need more than a 2-year associate's degree to become a doctor. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I'll tell you, man, I'm a little bit older than most of the people in this room tonight. So I used to do a thing when I was a younger guy. We had this thing called video dating services. I don't know if anyone even remembers this here, but I tried it a few times, A round of applause. Anyone else ever tried video dating?
Not so much.
No. Multi-billion-dollar organization, you lying bastards. No, but seriously, I was on there, and what you would do is you would go to like an office building, and they would videotape you. You would sit down, they'd be like, okay, Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself. And you would try to impress the opposite sex. You'd be like, well, I work out 15 times a week. I bench press 300 pounds. I drive a Maserati. I own several small businesses. I like to help underprivileged children. This whole thing, I just started feeling guilty about it. The next thing I know, I'm turning into Chris Farley. Well, I do have a slight weight problem. I'm not the norm. I'm not camera friendly. I can't reach all my body parts. I sweat profusely when I sleep. I don't own a toothbrush. I can't wipe properly. I don't wear clothes that fit me. I eat my own dandruff. I don't let my scabs heal. I've never had sex with a lady. I'm not sure how that works. So needless to say, I didn't get any dates off of that tape. Whoops-a-daisy! Whoops-a-daisy! Hey, you guys have been a lot of fun. I'm Matt Kissane. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you. There you go, buddy.
Thank you so much, Matt. And let's head out to the fire and have a little bit more fun here. Thank you so much. We'll see you out in there in just a minute. Here we are, Bonfire Banter. We have our comedy special here tonight. Thank you, Matt, for giving us a little stand-up earlier. Really appreciate that.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
So tonight we got Keith out here.
Hello.
And
how are
Keith,
you doing?
We actually Jade was on last week, and we did a Craigslist ad. We sent it out, and Jade was on last week, and she was fantastic. We've been talking to Keith here tonight, and we'll see if he can match up to Jade's dominance on the last episode. So you got big shoes to fill, Keith.
I have small feet. I'm a hobbit in my past life, so,
Not ideal for the big feet filling.
but I have big palms.
Oh, that's
I mean, I have
good.
big hands, but the palm is big. That's
The fingers are short, but the palms are huge.
Stubby sausage deli links, but I got a big palm. So,
That's good. That could come in handy quite a bit.
Right?
So, and then we got Richey Leesley back on. Richey, thank you for jumping on the panel tonight.
Thanks for having me. Always
Richey
a
the
pleasure.
Fire Guy. And then, like we said, Matt Kissane, we've already kind of introduced him in there. You saw his stand-up.
That was good.
And Matt,
Good.
yeah,
Thanks, guys.
absolutely. That was fantastic.
I got gloves on. You can't hear, but I'm clapping, dude. It's good to hear.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So first thing I kind of wanted to get at is, just kind of shoot this thing around. We're all fans of comedy here, and Keith, I'll shoot this one to you first. What was like your earliest inspiration, or one of the comics you liked really early on, or maybe the guy that got you into liking comedy?
I remember it was like 6th grade, and I can't. It was just an improv on Saturday nights, and I just couldn't get over how funny was Hollywood, and I forget the famous one in Hollywood on the Strip there. And it was just the way people came across and how funny it was. I'm just like, how do you just go up there and talk, and you got all these people you're supposed to make laugh, and it's such an art form, and I have to give Matt another round of applause.
It's hard to do.
It's not an easy thing to do. And I guess the first comedians that I gravitated towards were Saturday Night Live, which we were talking about, and
we'll be getting into that.
We'll get into that. But probably the ones that resonated were Eddie Murphy, Bill Hicks, and George Carlin growing up. And even being younger, like kind of understanding what they were talking about, but just knowing like, wait, there's something more to this than just being funny. They're making you think, and it's a whole nother level of human interaction that I just love it.
I feel like a voice that we've been sorely missing this day and age is George Carlin.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine his commentary on what's going on these days?
If you don't mind me, I got a George Carlin story.
Yes, please.
I never worked with him, never officially met him, but back in I think it was 1997, my buddy Mike and I were performing at a club in Rochester, Minnesota, and we got there early. We got there a few hours early. We came in from another gig. And so we're just kind of walking around Rochester, just seeing the sights. There's not much to see, but it is the home of the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
And
good for
them. So we're just walking around, and we maybe 2 blocks down the street, we see this guy walking across the street, and I look at Mike and I said, "Hey man, that dude looks like George Carlin." And I go, "Hey, George!" He stops, he turns, he goes like that, he waves, and we look at him and we're like, dear God Almighty, it's George Carlin.
It really was him?
It was him. He had the ponytail and everything. And we started like running towards him, and like he just kind of disappeared, And we found out later that he was in town doing a benefit for the Mayo Clinic because his wife was there.
Really?
She was a patient there.
Oh, wow.
He was in town.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts, right?
In Rochester, Minnesota.
I know, right?
Of all places.
I know.
You'd just as likely see him in Villa Park, Illinois.
No crap. Not the entertainment capital of the world. Far from it.
Yeah. So, Richie, as far as some of your early inspirations, I know you're a comedy fan. Who do you like? Who's your guys?
I'm a big Cheech and Chong fan.
Yeah.
Monty Python, I like that.
Yeah, some old movies. Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey's a great one. I've just loved to see kind of how his career has gone and how he got back into SNL recently. Well, not recently. He never was on SNL.
Living Color?
In Living Color, yeah. That's what was Jim Carrey. But I heard a story about that, though. Before he did Biden, that he actually called up Lorne Michaels and said, I want to do Joe Biden this year.
Nice.
Like, they didn't reach out to Jim Carrey.
Wow.
Which I was hearing it on the radio, and they were like, if Jim Carrey's reaching out asking for that role, he's been Biden in his house for like months now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He's been acting like Joe Biden around his house for at least 3 months.
Sure.
So just to see him encompass that character and go up and just kill it, like the little gun thing he's doing.
Oh yeah,
it's so funny.
He's good.
Just to see him weekly, on Saturday Night Live, like a couple weeks in a row there, to see him like out in the limelight again, like I loved it. It's like he disappeared for a little while there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched that one on Showtime at all, but it's kind of a dark humor. It's called I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like he's Mr. Rogers.
Oh yes, I have seen that.
Yeah, and it's really dark, and he's just like this super positive guy, but his life's kind of crumbling, and it's real dark, but there's some hilarious dark humor in there, and I'd highly recommend going to watch it. I don't know the name of it, obviously. Clearly, I did my homework here. But yeah, check that one out on Showtime, I believe. But so Matt, as far as you've been in comedy for a long time, who are some of your early inspirations?
I love just so many. I mean, when I was a little kid, we loved Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, Abbott and Costello. I used to love those guys. We used to whenever Creature Features would have on WGN, whenever they would have Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, we were there. That was our favorite movie of the year. We'd watch it. But as time went on, I got into like Steve Martin. Yeah, I think of all time, I would say Steve Martin's probably my favorite guy. I love just sort of silly stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, observational comedy and political stuff is good too.
Yeah.
But I always love the wacky stuff. The wacky comedy.
Yeah, you don't seem to like Chris Farley much.
Just a little bit.
Teeny bit.
Just a wee bit.
So you were kind of telling us a little story about how, you don't like super know Chris Farley, but tell us a little bit about, what you know of Second City and how that all went.
So after I got out of college, back in the late 80s, I was reading a book in my final semester at University of Maryland. It was called The Second City, and it was a history of Second City. And there was a chapter that you could go take classes at Second City in Chicago. It was this place called the Players Workshop back then.
Okay.
It was before the training center.
Yeah.
And it was run by this lady named Josephine Forsberg and Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, Shelley Long, George Wendt, all these other like comedy luminaries came out of the Players Workshop. So I'm like, I got to go do it, So when I got there, I was a little bit like green, a lot of bit green. And what I thought you needed to do was like, you go in there and act like the famous guys in characters that came out of Second City.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole first level, the first two like levels, they have a 6-level course.
Yeah.
I was acting like Dan Aykroyd, like every time I would go in there, and I'd be like, hey there, Miss Face, talking like that, And then somebody pulled me aside one day and they said, you're supposed to invent your own characters. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. But anyway, while I was there, Chris Farley had become a main stage performer. And so part of the deal was if you were taking classes at the Players Workshop, you were allowed to go and watch the main stage performances, as long as you behaved yourself and didn't, weren't
get
disruptive.
drunk or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one night after one of the performances, we cornered Chris because we were huge fans of Chris. He was not famous. We were just like, hey, Farley, come across the street to the Old Town Ale House with us. We want to buy you a beer.
Yeah.
And he showed up. He walked in. And he was just like, he came over and hung out with us. And I was just like, Chris, we love you, man. We want to start the Chris Farley fan club. We think you're great. You're the best. And then I had a couple of drinks. I was like, so Chris, what do you think of that idea where we start the Chris Farley fan club? And he looked at me and he went, well, I think you're gay.
Oh my God. So at that point in time, I mean, when you see him on TV, and we've all seen a million sketches and stuff, I mean, how was he in person? Was he he was approachable and he was just a nice guy? Or?
He was a sweetheart off stage. I mean, he was very approachable. When we saw him after the performance at Second City, we left the theater and we went out and we were on North Avenue, and I'm not kidding, we got outside and it was freezing cold. It was like tonight. It was like January or February.
Yeah.
And Chris was standing out in front of Second City and he was wearing his blue Marquette rugby jacket that he wore in Tommy Boy. I'm not kidding. He had it back then.
Hell
and he's standing there like a little lost puppy out in front of Second City by himself, just kind of just standing there. And he did this skit that night where he was a waiter.
Okay.
And he came out wearing a long apron, right? And when he turned around, he didn't have any pants on.
Oh, my God.
So his ass was hanging all over the place.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we were just like, Chris, you were naked. And he was just like, yeah, I know.
So that was allowed. They let him just go up there pantsless?
I don't know. I mean, I think he may have gotten in trouble a few times for some of the stuff he pulled. But I'll tell you what, man. As far as laughs go, nobody got bigger laughs and I've seen a lot of shows, man. Nobody got bigger laughs than Chris Farley.
I mean, just a physical comedy and stuff of Chris Farley is just.
Oh yeah, he was the best. One time
legendary.
they were doing the improv part where they just did improv at the end. Where they just made skits up.
Yeah.
And Chris saw a big giant pitcher of beer on the table right in front of the stage, and he grabs it and he just starts drinking it, man. He just starts drinking the pitcher down. Nuts, just nuts.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's excellent. And again, it's funny to me that I grew up idolizing Chris Farley. He's the funniest guy in my
we all
mind.
did.
I always had these dreams of like now, since he passed and stuff like that. Like, can you imagine like him and Will Ferrell in a movie or like some of the movies that he would have done? Like, if he was still alive, like from the time he passed, like to now, like the amount of different movies he would have done with like Spade and Sandler and like,
dude,
we
I
missed
have a script. My buddy Hugh is friends with Robert Smigel, who's Triumph the Insult Comic Dog and all that.
Oh yeah.
So Smigel sent my friend Hugh a script called The Bears Superfans Movie. It's just called The Bears Fans. It was a whole script written by Bob Odenkirk and Robert Smigel back in 1995, and they were getting ready to shoot this baby, and then unfortunately Chris passed away. But they were ready to make it, and I actually had George Wendt on my podcast a few years ago, and I brought it up. I was like, George, because they had a live script reading of it at the Park West in 2010. Really? Here's who was at the live script reading. You ready for this? At the Park West. Horatio Sands, Bob Odenkirk, Mike Ditka.
Holy shit.
Played himself. Joe Mantegna. Okay, Robert Smigel. My friend Hugh was in there. So what was I just saying? What were we talking about? Oh, when I asked George. Yeah. Of course, George was there because he's the main. He's Bill Swirsky, from the Superfans. Yeah. So when I asked, are we okay?
Yeah, we're good. Okay, keep rolling.
When I asked George, I was like, hey, man, is there any possible way you guys are ever going to consider making the Bears fan, the movie? And he goes, no, there'd be no way we'd do it without Chris. Yeah. And I go, I know, not to be disrespectful, but if you made that with like Chris's brother, Kevin Farley, or you could use Kevin James or something.
Use like Matt Kissane or something.
Oh, yeah. I did hit those guys up after the show.
Yeah, I mean.
I got into the green room at the Park West, and I went up right up to Robert, and I was like, hey, man, if you ever need a superfan guy, I go, I don't need to wear a pillow, because not Chris, but Horatio Sands, who was at the live script reading, he was the guy who was playing Chris's part.
Okay.
Horatio from SNL.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hilarious.
And, he's the best. And so, but he had lost like 100 pounds.
Oh, really?
He got really skinny. So he had to wear a pillow underneath his Bears jersey. So I was like, I don't need a pillow. And then Robert just looked at me and he went, ha, ha, and he just kind of walked away. Yeah. And then they threw me out.
Yeah, they're like, get that guy.
Who is this guy?
Security.
Keckner was there, too. Dave Keckner was there, man.
Who's Dave Keckner?
Dave Keckner was the guy that played Champ in Anchorman.
Oh, Champ,
the sports guy.
He's also on The Office. And
yes. Oh, yeah. He plays, what the hell is he? What's the guy's name? He crapped on Michael Scott's.
Todd Packer, yeah.
He took a crap on Michael Scott's rug, remember?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many good Todd Packer moments.
By the way, I was supposed to do my Kevin Malone.
Yeah, give us a Kevin Malone.
Okay, so no, I'm just going to do actual lines from The Office. Yes. So please don't write me any letters or anything, because these are actual lines that Kevin said. Yeah. So I just do lines from The Office.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Do you think that I'm retarded? Okay, here's another one. Angela, brownies. Angela. All right, here's one more. I am so going to bang Holly. Thank you.
That is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
So, Keith.
Yes, sir.
What are some comedy shows and stuff you like to watch? What do you watch on TV when you're tuning into Netflix or something else?
God, you're gonna think I'm nuts. I had a divorce from television 10 years ago.
Really?
I stopped watching television in 2000. It was actually because of a Bears game in 2011.
That'll do it to you. Yes, I felt the same way after the Super Bowl.
The story goes 2011. Bears Lions Monday night. Could not wait for it. I canceled the soccer game. I played indoor soccer on Monday nights, and I remember this first quarter. What's a quarter in football? 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Right?
15.
All right.
Yep.
Not when the Bears play. First quarter, an hour and 12 minutes because Cutler was on his back. False starts. I had a meltdown watching this game by myself. And next thing I know, I'm rifling shot glasses through my drywall. I'm like, I don't own this place. I rent this place. I got to do drywall work. I suck at drywall work. So I remember calling up Comcast, and I'm like, you know what? the Bears suck. I'm canceling. I'm canceling my cable. I'm like, I don't want it anymore. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm watching the Bears. I don't want to watch it. I'm like, cancel everything. I'm like,
cut it off now.
We could just give you the other package. You don't have to have. I'm like, no, I know you got that button because when I don't pay my bill, you hit the button and I get no cable. Hit the button. I'm like, I keep telling the lady, I'm like, hit the button. I'm like, don't swear at them because then they'll hang up on you and you have to.
Then you gotta wait with the robot again on the other end. And
I kind of just, I had a come to Jesus moment, like they want to say, and next thing I know, no TV, it's gone. I'm like, what did I do? What did I do?
What do I do now with my free time?
It forced me to go to YouTube, and I kind of like started getting away from like the arts, like comedy and my music, and I saw a podcast, Joe Rogan. I'll have to give him props, even though I don't agree with everything.
Yeah.
I started listening to him, like, wow. And Bill Hicks. And I'm like, I've revisited Bill Hicks. And I'm like,
Bill Hicks,
I'm like, I got to do mushrooms. I'm like, I have to. There's the old thing that Terrence McKenna, Bill Hicks got from Terrence McKenna was the 5 gram heroic dose. And I'm like, I got to try that. I'm like, no.
Heroic dose.
That's what they call it. I'm like, I got to take 5 grams of dried mushrooms and contact the aliens to help save in the betterment of humanity. And I'm like, I want them to come.
Very normal to me.
And all from a Bears game. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save the planet with the aliens. I'm like, and short, I'll make a long story short, but I mean, I stopped TV and I started writing more, and I started getting more into comedy and art, and I'm like, I still love sports, right? But it ruined my life.
Look at the newspaper the next day now.
I'm like, you're like, the Bears game would ruin a week. Like, you get heartburn, terrible diarrhea on Monday. Maybe projectile diarrhea. I don't know. But you would just be like...
The shotgun shit.
You start crying. And it happened the year after the Super Bowl year. My brother was born January 23rd, 1986.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday.
And I remember going to the hospital. It was in 86. I think it was a 27th or 8th, the Super Bowl they won. And I started crying when Walter Payton fumbled, like in the first quarter. I don't know if you remember.
Early on the backfield.
I'm like, against the Patriots. I'm like, if Walter Payton fumbled, I'm like, oh my God. My brother's going to die in the hospital because Walter Payton fumbled. I'm like, you just think all these stupid things, and then they kicked the crap out of them. And then the next year they played the 49ers, and they got their ass kicked. And I was just like, I wanted to cry. I'm like, why am I taking this so personal?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my divorce from TV got
That's
to
a great
that.
story, though, because
So,
I feel like every Bears fan out there has felt that way.
I feel great now, though.
Yeah, I see. I have to sit around at home and watch it in front of my girl and my daughter, who could care less about football. And I'm just out there. They're doing stuff on their iPads, and all of a sudden, some play will happen. I'll be jumping. What the hell? And they're freaked the hell out. They're like, they're not paying any attention to it, obviously.
You got like,
I just look like a psychopath at
you
home.
got too many fantasy teams in your life.
do.
Your life turns into like a bad after school special. Like,
she tells my daughter now every time in August, she's like, okay, we're going to lose Daddy for about 4 months now. He's not going to be paying attention to you on Sundays, so just write him off on Sundays.
So
that's hilarious, though. I think we could all agree that the Bears have done that to us one too many times.
But I guess going back
hard too
to what you originally asked was comedy shows. I mean, I grew up, I remember a Thursday night special in the 90s. It was Friends, Seinfeld, and Frasier.
Yeah, that was
and I'm like,
a big slate going on at that
It was
time.
just the funniest. Like, we would talk about it in school the next day. And it was just like that, and probably one of the earlier Night Court. I don't know if you ever remember Night Court.
I do.
Hearing about it. Yeah, I didn't watch that one very much.
Oh,
but I'm a huge
John
Seinfeld
Larroquette. Oh my God, that guy was just. I love that
Funny
guy.
stuff, man.
Funny stuff.
I'm also a very big Seinfeld. I like Friends a lot too. Actually, I watch a lot of Friends reruns. But some about Seinfeld, we were kind of talking about it off screen. But the observational stuff and just like the names of different people, the close talker, the soft talker, the man hands, just brilliant stuff. That
Maria and I watched an offshoot of Friends with Matt LeBlanc. It's called Episodes.
Okay, yeah.
You guys ever hear of Episodes?
I did hear about this.
It's really a good series, man.
Yeah.
You guys got to check it out.
Okay, is it currently they're not currently doing new stuff?
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but we just binged the whole thing within the past a few months, and he plays himself. Matt LeBlanc plays Matt LeBlanc.
Okay,
and so everywhere he goes, people are always like going Joey, and he's always screaming, "Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?"
But you guys want to see a good series? It's really good, man.
So how
definitely.
Many seasons was it?
It's what it wasn't that many, maybe 5,
okay.
and it's definitely not child friendly. Yeah. It's definitely rated R.
Okay,
it's the way Hollywood really is.
You're making me interested. I do want to watch.
It's fantastic. I was tipped off by a friend, and I'm glad I watched it because it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite ones has always been Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh God!
And I don't know if anyone watches it, but just the
I've seen it.
And the funny story was Mac. I forget what his actual name is, but one of the Mac on the show and his main writer had talked about his idea for the show was he grew up as a huge Friends fan. And he goes, I want to be like the opposite of Friends. Like the friends that will do nothing for each other.
Dysfunctional friends.
Yeah, the dysfunctional. And that's literally how they started that show, was trying to be the opposite of Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I think, a great way to, a great premise to a show, which they've done a pretty good job keeping that alive for a while.
How long has it been on?
They're up to 15 or 16 seasons.
Because I think
now.
The first one that was introduced to me was called The Nightman Cometh, where it was like
it's a musical. Charlie writes. Yeah.
For some reason, I think musical spoofs are just like the funniest things. But that one, like, I peed a little. And I remember watching it.
Little pee came out.
Just a tiny bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit. So, yeah.
If it's just a little bit, you don't even have to change your underwear.
No. If you're outside of my freeze or dry, whatever.
It'll just dry.
Whatever you
It'll
want.
warm you up temporarily.
Actually, I was talking to this dude over here about Kiss. If you don't, I think you get completely off topic.
No, go for it.
We're huge Kiss fans.
Yes.
And you guys were talking about YouTube. There's a video on YouTube. It's still up there. It's probably been up there for since the beginning of YouTube, since 2007. And it's a video of Paul Stanley from Kiss, the lead singer. And he's yelling at a guy in the audience because this guy has a laser pointer. And the guy keeps shining the laser pointer in the faces of the band. And so they're doing they're like Detroit rock. So Paul Stanley comes out. We're gonna stop the show right now because somebody in the audience has a laser pointer. Now we're not sure who it is, but if that guy doesn't leave the stadium, we're not gonna be able to continue to rock and roll. Wow. Once that guy leaves the stage and leaves the stadium with the laser pointer, we will continue to rock and roll all night. You guys got to check it out. It's not, I'm sure Paul was not happy about it, but being a Kiss fan, you can appreciate that.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious to watch something like that.
I feel like he found it funnier than I did just because he knows these guys and their voices better.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't even want to watch the YouTube video now because I feel like you probably did it.
I don't know if you guys know this.
Really?
This other guy, he's from Chicago. If you guys remember the hair metal band Enough's Enough.
Chips Enough.
Chips Enough.
Yeah.
So I've become America's preeminent Chips Enough impersonator.
Okay.
And not a lot of people even know who Chip is. But if you know who this is, then you guys will appreciate my famous Chips Enough impersonation. So I went on Man Cow, and Chip was on there. I dressed up as Chips Enough, and I stood right next to Chip, and we were both heckling each other. And Chip was like, "What is this jagoff doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm not a jagoff. You're a jagoff." He goes, "No, you're the biggest jagoff I ever met. No, you're a jagoff. No, you're a total jagoff." We're sitting there calling each other jagoffs for 5 minutes on live television. I'm sure there were some FCC fines at that point.
So I was going to ask Matt, because I remember I want to say you were on Man Cow a lot, because I was a huge Man Cow
on the
fan.
TV show. The TV show.
I was a huge Man. I'm like, I know he was on Man Cow because
he used to
obviously
go on there as Farley. Well, Man Cow was really good friends with Farley.
Okay.
And I would listen to Man Cow every day going to work, and there's this big debate growing up in like the 90s, 2000, Mancow or Stern. I'm like,
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm
both
like,
shock
they're
jocks.
both-
Like, yeah,
I'm like, they're both great. They got their both thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
They're slightly different. They
Why
got their
choose
own
one or
things.
the
Yeah.
other? And that's what I never understood about comedy and like the competition. I know, like friendly competition. Yeah, you want to be funny, but
Yeah.
like, why do you want to hate
Who's gotta be
Mancow?
better?
Like,
Yeah.
I never understood it. So
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, what was your relationship with Mancow? Because I think he's a funny guy.
You know what? I never was a really huge fan of his, but when I, was asked to do a show, I was like more than happy to do it.
Yeah. Right.
Over the couple years that I was on there, he turned out to be a pretty nice guy, and I performed at some events, private events of his and stuff. But you were talking about Stern, and I actually had this girl. Her name is Wendy Fiore. She's a supermodel, an internet model, and she actually grew up around here. She went to Montini High School,
Oh, okay.
So I had her on there, and she's been on the Playboy Channel a bunch of times because she is very well endowed.
Yeah.
And that's what she's known for. So I was just
She's
like,
a big brain?
She's
Yeah,
done,
huge brain.
Yes, exactly. Well, she's done all these shows. She's done all these podcasts and radio shows like Mancow and Playboy TV.
right.
And I asked her, I was like, have you ever been on Howard Stern? And she was just like, no, I don't know if I can handle that. I go, can you imagine going on there? And she's like, would you like to see my ass? How would you like to see my ass? She just goes on there. She's known for having these, huge pillows, and Howard's just in there. How would you like to see my ass? I'm going to take my pants off right now. You can touch my ass.
Would you like to throw some cold cuts at my ass? Like,
He's just gonna make her sit on a subwoofer or something. Anyway, that's not.
that movie was funny. Like the private
good
parts,
movie.
like
It's a good movie.
it was a good movie. Like
Very
everyone
good
thought it was
movie.
just gonna
Private Parts?
be,
Yeah.
some,
Well, see, you were talking about Chips Enough from Enough's Enough, the book, Private Parts. It came out as
Okay.
a book first.
Oh, was it?
there's a whole chapter about Chips Enough.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because Enough's Enough used to go on the Howard Stern show back in the day,
Gotcha.
because they were huge for a few years. And it's this funny story because Chip actually dated Madonna.
Wow.
Yes, and there's this whole story.
How much of a virgin was she like?
Yeah, right. Well, this is pre famous Madonna.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
She was in a punk band in New York,
Really?
and Chip wound up out in New York, and he hooked up with her. And there's this crazy story that Chip was so high that he actually peed on Madonna.
Oh my God! Is that in her memoirs?
Let me get to. So anyway, here's the impersonation that. So let me just get this straight. Chip, you actually peed on Madonna. You dope.
Some of the stuff's blowing my mind. I don't know.
No, it's the truth. If you get the private part books, man, look it up. Chip's in there.
golden shower for the Vogue lady. Like,
For the Vogue lady?
the Vogue lady. Like, jeez,
That's a good one. I've definitely never heard
No,
that
was there?
story.
I thought there were two Enoughs. Like, was there Chip and was there another brother?
Chip's Enough and Donnie.
Donnie. I thought
Donnie
yeah.
was the other guy. They were the two
the
main
other
guys.
guy.
Yeah.
It's like the one dominant brother.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you guys? So I had actually looked up a couple of things. Did it say you opened for Weird Al at one point too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing. Here's how that happened. This is another weird story. I've had so many weird show business stories.
Yeah.
So I had this entertainment company, Absolutely Entertainment. I kind of dissolved it a few years ago.
Yeah.
But at one point, like people were calling for kids parties. And so I was doing stand-up comedy, and but during the day, I would go out as the Purple Dinosaur, okay? So this guy calls me up, and he goes, I want you to play the Purple Dinosaur at my kids' party. And then afterwards, he's like, Matt, just out of curiosity, what else do you do? And I'm like, well, besides playing the Purple Dinosaur at kids' parties, I'm also a stand-up comedian. He goes, really? He goes, send me your tape on Monday. Send me your tape. I want to see it. So I sent him my tape. I swear to God, within 48 hours, he calls me. He's like, I'd like you to open for Weird Al.
At what time is this? What
This is
year
2000. It was the Running with Scissors tour.
Okay, so he's big at this point.
So I get the gig,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Okay, so the first gig is in Rockford at the Rockford Metro Center." Okay, so I get there. There's like thousands of people in this place. It holds 10,000 people, and there's families coming in, and there's little kids. And my stand-up is not clean, It's a club. It's a club routine.
Yeah, yes.
So I get out there, and I'm like, "What?" I go, "What? There's kids here." And the promoter goes, the guy that hired me goes, "Oh, by the way," he goes, "there are a lot of children here, so you got to be squeaky clean." So I get out there, and I'm talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, it's good to be here in Rockford, home of Cheap Trick." I think we'd get a good cheap applause.
Yeah.
I hear these little kids in the front row. Daddy, who's he talking about?
that?
Who's that? And I'm like, this is going to suck. The whole time, the whole time I'm up there for 10, 15 minutes, there's this guy in the balcony, you suck!
No way.
Yeah, the whole time I'm up there. Just so I do the old, hang on a second, I got something in my pocket I wanted to bring along for that guy in the balcony. Where is it? I'll go, yeah, here it is. Here you go, buddy, right there. Just wanted to pull that out. Can you see them both? You got them coming in stereo right now. There you go.
You got it coming in stereo right now.
I got a lot of crazy showbiz stories.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
So
I wind up in places that I don't belong, man. I don't know how I get there, but I just do.
So did you talk to Weird Al a lot? How is he?
You know what? I did a couple of shows, and then we were out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Embassy Theater, and I'm just hanging out backstage, and he comes up to me out of nowhere. He goes, "Are we on East Coast time?" Because, it's that weird dividing line in Indiana between East Coast and Central time zones.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm not sure, but hey, I used to listen to you on the Dr. Demento show when I was 13. And then he just kind of walked away and he went, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
That was the extent of my conversations with Weird Al. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, by the way, what Keith just did there is what I usually am the one doing. Is if you guys have to relieve yourself at all, by all means, just jump up and go for it.
The urinal, I nicknamed it Madonna. And I'm chips enough right now.
Did you go to the garage and
I hail you, brother.
I had.
Yeah.
I was like trying to hold it for the break, but I'm like a camel.
It gets too uncomfortable,
especially when it's cold. I'm like, I'll be warm for a second if that happens, but then I'll get cold again.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys! I just remembered.
Yes.
I have a very special costume that I wanted to put on for you.
Oh, really? That sounds kinky.
If you want me to go,
No.
whenever you're ready.
Well, we're going to take a little break here. Well, we have a special guest coming on. He's actually been in the garage in our green room over there drinking coffee for 4 straight hours. So I think Matt at some point is going to...
Gee, I wonder who it could be.
So, before we get out of this segment, I want to say a couple things. And while we're doing it...
I want to murder one of my guests.
Yeah, so how many toes do you guys have? How many toes do you want? So one quick thing we got going on here tonight, something special, is More Brewing Company has actually given us a little giveaway. So it's a nice little hat. It's Bears colors. On the brim says More Brewing Company. So we're going to do a little giveaway to win this hat. All you got to do is you got to go on Facebook, and you have to like More Brewing Company, and then you have to go on YouTube, and you have to subscribe to Bonfire Banter. That's all you got to do. 2 things, real easy, and you could win this fabulous flat bill hat. So that's fantastic. And also, before we get off this segment, as we're passing this axe around, we're going to do a little beer tasting for you. So we have this one by More Brewing Company here called Partially Cloudy. And this is a dry hopped lager. Oh, there you go, Matt. Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you, my son.
So, yeah, we'll knight him. Partially Cloudy. This is a dry hopped lager. I picked this one because it's got Citra hops in here, which I kind of like. So you guys get to drink it because this is the one I wanted to pick. So if you don't like it, tough shit. So let's get this going for you guys. Thank you so much.
Careful there.
Be careful. No guard on that.
Watch your crotch.
Thank you. Keep all my toes because, of course, I'm barefoot. All right. So let's get this baby out here. I'm going to start pouring these up. All right. So have you been to More Brewing Company?
I have. Or? Yes. Oh, God, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. You live in this area.
I do.
We don't want to.
Tommy like beer.
Here, let's get these started here. So, yeah, these guys, More Brewing Company, fabulous establishment. They've been in Huntley for a while. They got their biggest location out there where they have most of their brewing equipment. But if you're looking for some unique craft beers and artfully crafted food, go no further than More Brewing Company. They also have their smaller location. Pass it over to Matt.
Yes.
And they have their smaller location on Villa in Villa Park. So go check them out. Right now, all these small businesses need help. Go check them out. Buy some beer. Get some takeout. And tell Ross that Bonfire Banter sent you. All right? So here you go, Keith. All right. And in a second here, as you guys are tasting this, we want to have you guys rate this beer from 1 to 10 with decimal points. So as I'm pouring Richie's out here, Matt had the first. Have you tried it yet, Matt?
It's delightful.
So what do you got there? What do you you can rate it, you can tell us what you think about it, whatever.
Let's do a cheers first.
I like it, man. It's good.
Cheers.
It's good?
Yeah, it's definitely very citrusy.
Citrusy? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be up my alley then. This is kind of where I lean. But if you had to rate it 1 to 10 with decimal points, what are you giving it?
Well, only because I'm not like a huge IPA guy or microbrew guy. I like it. I'm more of a Blue Moon type dude.
Yep.
But if I was going to give this any type of rating, I would definitely give this an 8.5.
8.5, 8.5. That's a pretty high score.
Yeah.
That's good. I like an 8.5. Richie, have you gotten a chance to try this yet?
I just did.
What are you thinking about it? Is this up your alley at all, or what do you typically drink?
Be honest with you, any beer is up my alley.
You'll take it if it's got booze in it.
I'm used to old style and Rolling Rock and Bush, old man piss beers, but this more fancy microbrewed stuff is actually really good.
Right?
I enjoy it. It's a special treat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
From somebody like me that's this is a redneck that drinks shit. So I would give this probably, to be honest with you, I'll give it a 9.
A 9? Okay,
Yeah,
that's a pretty high score.
yeah,
You're
it's
going to
not
go
bad.
just a nice, even,
good stuff.
clean 9.
I like it.
And then, Keith, what are you thinking about this?
I'm thinking hard because I haven't had a beer in like 2 years.
In 2 years. So we're not going to, spiral you down some kind of weird situation.
No, you might spiral me into a fun situation.
Oh, okay, good.
No, but seriously, this tastes awesome.
Good.
Like as soon as it hits your lips,
It's so good.
it's so
good.
no, like Matt was saying, I was a Blue Moon guy.
Yeah.
And it has that little Blue Moon,
Yeah.
but it's a little more hoppy.
Yes.
So
That's kind of what I'm getting off it, too.
like not just happy. Like it makes me
Happy.
happy. So I would give it a 9.2.
Ooh, very high.
Nice.
Oh, high for yeah.
Not bad.
Absolutely.
Not
and this
bad.
is, like I was saying, this is kind of right up my alley. This is a little cleaner tasting than like a Blue Moon to me. It tastes more like beer than Blue Moon. I got off Blue Moon a little while back because I tasted Oberon by Bell's. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a citrusy beer as well.
Sure.
And I started liking Bell's more because it didn't taste like, this is probably not the right terminology, but Blue Moon started tasting like too syrupy.
Yeah.
Like there's too much
Like-
flavor in it.
Like orange juice, beer syrup.
Kind of,
Like
yeah.
you're like, it's good, but I'm like, is this like Tang or like orange drink? Like what is this, man?
Orange drink.
Dang.
What the hell is juice, man?
Juice. I want that purple stuff.
Purple stuff.
We didn't.
It's called
sorry.
grape drink.
You sound like Hedberg there. Like
I'll
Mitch
go
Hedberg.
for one of my other
I used to
favorites,
do drugs. I still do, but I used to too.
Dave Chappelle. Like
he's
he was
great.
another one that like I totally forgot to mention him.
Yeah.
And what was the show on? 2.5, 3 years before.
Two full seasons. He had the third season was the lost episodes or whatever after he'd kind of told him to fuck off. And then
Who is the crazy rapper guy that Chappelle used to play? With the dreadlocks.
Little John.
Little John.
Yes.
We saw his video today. We were
What? And he keeps going, oh, what? I can't hear you. What? He's like taking the dreads out of the way and shit. It's kind of like this. Oh, what? What? Okay. And then he starts talking. He's like, ooh, well, I really appreciate you having me.
I miss that shit a lot.
Oh,
man.
my
That was
God.
fucking hilarious.
How
It
about
really
when he
was.
came back
Oh.
and like all of a sudden you see him like pop up? I think he was at somebody else's show. He was like in the
It's
crowd
England. I
at some
think it's
show,
in
and it was like,
England.
oh my God, Dave Chappelle's like around.
Yeah.
And then like you hear like, oh, he's got a new special coming out, and then it was
Yeah.
like, he's back.
And they did like 3, man.
Yeah, the
It's like,
Netflix
holy
like,
crap.
paid him finally.
It's so good.
He's so good. His timing.
Yeah.
He's like the pace of his jokes and his delivery is just so perfect.
I missed that guy. I missed him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm so happy he's back around now. I'm going to give this a 9.4. This is the highest I've ever rated a beer. This is fantastic.
9.4.
I am going to start drinking this regularly. Thank you, Ross, over at Moore Brewing Company. We're gonna keep tasting the stuff as much as you want to give it to
I
us.
might be back on the team.
You might be
I'm
back?
on the team.
All right. There you go.
Pinch hitter, or
hit.
that crafty veteran that's a lefty that's
Yeah.
on the team of the baseball team.
Yeah.
Till he's like 50.
Yeah, yeah. You're
And I'm
just
like,
coming
oh,
out for
God,
situational
okay,
hitting.
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, right. That's my drinking career now. I'm
That's
thinking,
good.
like, yeah.
I think that's a good responsible. place to
Welcome
be.
back.
I like everything
Cheers.
you just said. Cheers.
Cheers. So we're going to be coming back in just a moment. Hang tight. We'll see you in just a moment. Bonfire Banter. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Bonfire Banter, and we're back. So we're sitting here. We got the fire roasting again. I was noticing right at the last segment there, I was like, this fire is dying down, and my toes are getting cold. So I'm happy we got this baby roasting again. Here he comes. So we got a special guest for you here. He's all hyped up. Matt, why don't you come out here, Matt Foley? He's been drinking coffee all night. Well, there he is.
Oh. How's everybody doing out there in TV land? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. Now, before I get going with my speech called Go For It, I want to give everybody here a little bit of a scenario of what my life's all about. First off, I am 35 years old. I am thrice divorced. And for the past 6 months, I have been living in a van down by the river. Yeah. These jokers over here, they call me and they're like, hey, Matt, why don't you come on the show? You can help everybody get back on the right track. I know you're thinking to yourself, hey, look at me. I got a TV show. Well, la-di frickin' da! Okay? You're out there like, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to grab the world, roll it up in a little ball and stick it in my pocket. Well, old Matt's here to let you know that as you go out there, you're probably going to find out you're not going to amount to jack squat. You're going to wind up eating a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river. Okay. Now, I understand you guys over here, you like to fancy yourself as writers, isn't that right?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. Well, from what I can understand, you've been using your paper not for writing, but for rolling doobies. You're going to have plenty of time for doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river. Okay. Yeah. You know, you guys are looking at me and you're thinking to yourself, hey there, how come you got so much good information? Well, clam up! Okay, this guy over here thinks he's pretty funny, huh? Hey, I can't see too good. Is that Bob Hope? I can't see too good. This guy over here calls himself a talk show host, huh? Hey, is that Phil Donahue? I can't see real good. Okay, this joker over here calls himself a rock and roller. I can't really see too good. Is that Ozzy Osbourne? I can't see too good. Okay. Now, as I see it, the best thing for me to do is to become part of the Bonfire Banter talk show guy thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get my stuff and I'm gonna move into this house over here. Okay, everywhere you guys are, old Matt's gonna be your shadow. There's you, there's Matt, there's you. We're gonna become good pals, friends, amigos. Okay, and I'll tell you the main reason I want to move into your house is because I'm tired of living in a van down by the river. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.
Matt. Hey, Matt Foley, everybody.
Hey, Matt, actually, we got a shed over there that we could probably put you in if that's cool with you. Does that work?
You know something, Rob? I wish you'd do us all a favor and shut your yapper! So, guys, thanks for letting me do Farley for you.
Oh, my God. Thank you for doing it. Oh, my God. This man. Holy crap.
I'm always getting requests to do different Farley stuff. Probably one of my favorite Farley movie appearances was in Billy Madison. You guys remember Billy Madison?
Absolutely.
He played the bus driver.
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna be Sandler. All you got to do is say no, you're not. Okay, when I point to you. Okay, all right. Hold on there, dude. Say, that Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ash. I happen to know from experience.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. But I have a friend that says that she has got it going on.
No, you don't.
No, he doesn't. Great, grand, everybody on the bus!
Oh my gosh. This is so fantastic. I can't even explain it. Holy crap.
All right, guys. Well,
Matt, I cannot thank you enough. We'll be talking about it when you come back out here, but he was on the documentary a year ago for Anything for a Laugh by Chris, the Chris Farley documentary.
Yeah. A&E.
Holy crap. This is why. This guy is the best Chris Farley impersonator out there. If you're looking for someone to come out and make you laugh your ass off and you love Chris Farley, give Matt Kissane a call. Holy shit, he's fantastic.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you, Matt.
Good job,
And
man.
the peach cobbler was delightful. All
Zagat's?
right, I'll be back. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I'll get you back out here in a second. Get some warmth under. Holy crap.
Oh yeah.
What a
that the
freaking
one-
honor that was. What a freaking honor. Oh, my. I don't know if it gets any better than that, honestly.
Zagat?
Rob, I don't know if we were going live on that. I was going to tell you mid-thing, and I was trying to figure it out on my phone how to go live. Clearly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Maybe we missed an opportunity there. But, Rob, did we go live on that at all? Oh, shit, we should have.
Dude, that was
It's
hilarious.
fantastic. I cannot believe this guy is. It's like watching Chris Farley. It was literally like
Literally.
It is.
none of us will ever get to see Chris Farley live. How do you get any better than that?
Because that's like
don't.
going
That's
back
it.
in time when I was in high school. I'm like, it reminds me so. I'm like, dude, it's like brings back those good memories.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
we
this is
literally,
hilarious,
guys,
man.
we are on Bonfire Banter. We are 22 episodes in. We think like we're barely scratching the surface. We just got the best Chris Farley impersonator in America on our show.
If not in the world.
In the world, yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen anyone do
I
it
don't
better.
think there's a Chinese version of Chris Farley that's any better than that. I know that
I don't
right
see
now.
it, you know, I mean,
Holy crap! That was like, it's just more than I expected. Like, I felt like Chris Farley was standing there.
literally.
Was it? Oh, and I've heard the Matt Foley thing before, but
Yeah.
just like seeing it being performed for me in front of our fire here
Like
was like surreal.
Every character that Chris did, he does so well. Like the last one, the last one where the peach cobbler was the Zagat's.
Delightful.
The Zagat's. Remember, he's doing the silly like restaurant reviews, and Sandler, I remember, was just trying not to laugh,
Oh my god!
and it just killed me.
Oh, he's like the one. He's like
the Gap Girls.
He's like, aren't you on a diet? Lay off me! I'm starving.
it was the
Oh, these French fries are so good. Oh my god!
was it the Gap Girls, right? It was the three girls.
Yeah, they're all chicks like David Spade, Sandler.
You're
I
so
think.
stupid when you were handing out brains. They thought they said trains, and you got on one, and you went far away, and they're just like, "You're an idiot.
far away.
You're an idiot."
Oh man! So, one quick thing. I want to go through a couple of our sponsors real quick here. JPL Property Services. You're looking from anything from landscaping to snow removal. Don't go any farther than JPL Property Services. They're in Elmhurst. Give Jim a call. Check them out on Facebook. They dropped off a face cord for us. Clearly, it's burning pretty nicely.
They got good wood.
They got fantastic wood. I think Matt Kissane just gave me wood. So I'm half chubbed right now. I literally. So that's fantastic.
It is, yeah.
Jay and Jill
That's
Create.
great.
One more time, Jay and Jill Create. These guys are fantastic. It's Jay. It's our art director and his wife. Did our mugs for us, our t-shirts and everything else like that. Check out Tubby TV. Check out Minty TV. Check out everything that Jay Noska's doing. And I'd also like to say, Jay, sorry for your loss. We heard you're going through a tough time, buddy. We love you. Can't wait to get you back out here on the Bonfire Banter set. And, thank you for everything you've done for us. And, I know you're going through a tough time, so we're here for you, buddy. And then also like to shout out the Basement Boys because the Basement Boys are the first group of people that has actually given us money. Every other sponsor has given us some goods, and we love them for it. And I don't nothing against everybody else, but these guys reached out as some fans, and amazing. It was beyond words when they said that they wanted to throw us some cash just to say The Basement Boys.
Who gave you the hat? I forget.
These
Who
hats?
said- yeah.
York Furrier.
York
Furrier in Elmhurst. Fine outerwear. Since 1931. They have unique accessories. They're fantastic. If you're going to York Furrier, you don't even have to purchase anything. Bring an old heirloom, bring a fur that's been handed down or something you just purchased. It could be from somewhere else. Go to York Furrier. They'll clean and condition these kinds of things. But fantastic. York Furrier's been on almost since day one. They gave us these hats just to keep us warm, and it's a prop every friggin' week. It's fantastic.
I really thought that was your real hair when I first saw you. I'm like, wow.
He's got a nice head.
I'm like,
of hair.
is he an Asian with blonde hair? I'm like, because he looks. I'm like, I know, no, it's the hat. And it throws me off.
It's just the hat. It's not real.
Right.
No. So. Oh my God! I'm still reeling from this whole Matt Foley performance.
That was quite epic. If I must say.
Literally can't think of anything better for an episode like this than to get him out here doing that. If anyone off screen too can set up his mic again, so for when he gets back out here, his mic is ready to go. It's still sitting on the log over there, but. So Keith,
yes,
I know
sir.
you were saying, you stopped watching TV and all this stuff, and you were saying you're right, and you're into music and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about what you do in your free time.
In my free time, well,
Get us a little closer.
I'll try to get it.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, you're on it now.
I've been pleasantly unemployed for the last since July. I had a fiasco at work with the whole COVID thing. I almost died in a boiler accident. I had severe carbon monoxide poisoning.
No way.
And,
Oh man!
How long ago was this?
this was July of what the hell year is it? I can't remember.
This is
Everything's
2021
like
currently. That
the
carbon
whole.
monoxide messed you up.
It did. But I'm feeling much better now.
That's good. Was it pretty serious? Though?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was July of
Come back and join us.
July of 2019. I was cleaning out a boiler for a whole week, and I kept coming home and falling asleep. My girlfriend kept like, "What's going on with you, lady?"
shit.
Looking, so I had to go to the emergency room.
You said you couldn't, you kept sleeping. You said.
Yeah, I just kept going
So
to sleep, tired. I couldn't I like to stay in shape, and it just wasn't. So I had to go to the emergency room. I got my blood taken, and they said my carbon monoxide level was that of a 75-year-old man with COPD.
Oh, that's not ideal news.
What sucked was that the ER doctor thought I was trying to kill myself. He was
Really?
like, "What are you doing?"
Did you go in the garage and start your car?
Right. I'm like, I know, man. I'm like, that stuff gives you a headache. I'm like, he was like, "What about your furnace?" I'm like, all my appliances are electric. All my house is electric furnace.
Yeah.
So I traced it down to, I actually, with the carbon monoxide poisoning, I was also getting natural gas poisoning in this boiler room I was working in. So basically, that knocked me out of the game for a while.
Yeah.
And then I came back to work, and then when the COVID started happening, they wanted me to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And the whole mask thing, it would exacerbate headaches because it would just lack oxygen.
Yeah,
so
right.
I tried fighting where I worked. I'm like, come on. Like, I tried going on disability to wait it out because I wanted to go back to work. It's I'm not a lazy person.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. So I'm like, all right. Maybe this ain't my path in life. I should be a starving artist.
Yes.
I'm like, I learned how to oil paint. I never took a painting class in my life.
You're self-taught?
I just
Because you gave us something. It's pretty cool.
My girlfriend at the time, she's not my girlfriend anymore, but we're still friends. But she gave me
bad mouth her. So it's good
no, she's cool as hell. She saved my life. She was the one that told me to go to the ER because she's like, I saw you sleeping and you weren't breathing. Like you're supposed to be breathing. So.
Yeah, that is a
It's like
key
a good
of sleeping. Yeah,
and
want to breathe. That's for sure.
she gave me her oil paint set because she liked acrylic. I'm like, oil painting. I don't know what I'm doing. I watched the Bob Ross episode. If you're just
that
remember,
pretty much makes you a legitimate artist.
I mean, there are no happy accidents, or there are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents. I'm like, that's so right. And I painted something, and it was good.
Yeah.
I don't like bragging about myself.
Yeah.
But apparently it was good, so I kept it at it, and I would go home and take my medicinal plants and paint
it's illegal now, man. We don't gotta hide this stuff. It's okay. We're pro marijuana. It's okay.
The state of Illinois signed my permission slip, so I pay the money. And I get to go on a ride. So So since July, I've been playing the guitar, writing stand up. I really haven't performed it because I'm a big pussy.
Well, get out there, man. The first thing I did, I've only done stand up once, but I would tell you that you got to get out there. You know, it's like anything else. When you start doing anything, you're not going to be great at it at first.
And I want to give props to Matt because people like him, the pioneers, like he's an inspiration. He's like, you're up there and you're so calm, Matt, and you're so confident, and you're just like. I want that guy to party. I want him to go to my house, dude.
And I'm sure Matt could probably say, I mean, the first time he got up on stage, I'm sure he didn't feel and sound like that.
Did you shat yourself?
Yeah. And we might have to help you slide closer.
Am I too far out?
Oh, no, I was just saying, I don't know if you're going to get too cold over there, you know? Okay, cool.
But I was told that I needed to try this hat on.
If you can fit it on there, if you like it, whatever it is, what it is.
I have a big, giant Irish hat.
Yeah.
And, oops, that would help. The mic was off. Oops-a-daisy.
Oopsie-daisy.
It's seriously
big giant Irish
it's a
hat.
cool
I'm a
hat.
size 8.
We'll see how it fits.
And
just sits on top. Don't worry about it. How does this go forward?
There you go.
That's great.
I looked like the fat guy from Laurel and Hardy.
You look like Putin's bodyguard from Mother Russia.
It is a beautiful hat, but it's way too small.
Mother Russia. That's what I'm from.
One thing, by the way, I liked that you said was happy accidents. The Bob Ross thing.
Yeah,
I know
it is.
that Matt can speak toward this, but when you started in improv, and I did some Second City stuff as well, and Matt was saying it was a 5-part program. I guess they might have shortened that when I went there. It was or he said 6-part. I took a 5-part program. I don't know if they shortened it at some point, but one of the first things they teach you is if you say something you think is stupid, it could end up being the funniest thing of the night. You know, don't ever. The first thing they teach you is yes and. You know, if someone says something, they create something in improv. You never go. No, you're not. Oh, you're Matt Foley. No, you're not. You're Matt Kissane. You ruin everything. Now that he's said he's Matt Foley, now for the rest of the sketch, he's Matt Foley.
I really wanted to be a Second City improv guy. That was my dream. You know, it really was. I grew up watching SCTV with Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
Eugene Levy's great.
Oh yeah, Joe Flaherty and John Candy, of course.
Oh, John
and
Candy.
those guys were my heroes growing up. But I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get it down. You know, I was pretty decent at writing and character development, but when I was actually out there and you guys had to come up with a scene right in front of everybody, that's hard.
It is.
That's a special talent, and there's only a handful of people that can really pull it off.
Yes.
So I always tell people, hey, if you didn't make it at Second City, at least you got to learn how to drink from an invisible glass.
I always the first thing they taught me too is that you don't, when you're doing a gun, it's not this. You got to hold the gun with the trigger finger. It's not going pew pew pew.
It's hard. It's hard, man. And like you said, the only way to get good at something is just to do it over and over again, man.
And that's why I would tell you, if you've been writing and stuff, don't. The first time I did it, I did a bar with like 5 people in there, and no one laughed. But there was no one really there. They were drinking. They weren't even paying attention to me being up on stage. And I thought that I did pretty good. I didn't stumble across my material. I got it all out. It was just my writing is not where it needs to be. So I've kind of turned myself off. It's 3 years ago I did it. So I've been trying to build up the courage to get out there again. But there's definitely some inspiration over here. It made me want to. I started writing some more since I knew he was coming on. I was planning on doing a set this week, but there's a lot that goes into these productions and trying to pump this.
Somebody told me one time there's room in this industry for everybody.
Yeah.
If you don't make it as an improviser on stage, which by the way is great, and I know a lot of guys love doing it, and it's fantastic to watch, but there usually is not a lot of money in improvisation. Just doing it. I mean, it's great. And you
fun.
but I mean, you could be a writer. You could do all kinds of stuff. You're a producer. You could be. You guys started your own show, and so you guys are doing a great job here. I'm really impressed with your whole setup. And like I told you before we started shooting,
thanks, man.
no problem. It's I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I think it's a really cool original idea.
That's awesome. We
And
feel that way too.
when I first saw you guys, when I first watched the video, I had the volume down a little bit low, and I really thought that you guys were doing some type of right wing.
Oh yeah, see some people. Yeah,
I was like,
it's not.
When you look at it, you guys look like you're out there and you're
They're like guns.
You're planning to overrun the Capitol or
Yeah,
something.
no, it depends on what episode you watch and who we had on the panels. Yeah, I mean, it's like again,
But you're not. It's not that at all.
No.
So it's really a cool show. It's a great concept, and I think you guys have a really cool concept here. I think it's really brilliant.
I got a
Thank you
question.
so
I
much.
mean
I
it.
really appreciate it.
No,
The funny thing was, you kind of brought up Joe Rogan. I'll get to your question in just a second, Keith, so remember it. But Joe Rogan, he's great, fantastic stuff. But I guess on an episode, and I don't watch him enough to know, but I guess he had said something about like it'd be cool if there was like a podcast around a fire. And a buddy told us, and a buddy had told us, our original idea was to get a couple family members that were arguing on Facebook about politics off of Facebook, and to get them in person debating about it.
That's cool.
And so we were calling it The Cage, and we had him in my basement in front of a green screen.
Okay.
And it felt just really forced and not like our personalities.
Right.
And we had a couple buddies kept saying, do it by the fire, do it by the fire. And we're like, you know what
Get
that
out
brings
in
in? Like the troubles of shooting outside and the weather. We live in Chicago. We got to have to deal with all four seasons.
Yeah.
And then the week that we were going to film them back in the basement, it all fell apart, and we had to pivot. And we're like, you know what?
Pivot.
It's not our scene in the basement being this structured, political show. We're like, let's just go sit by the fire and talk about
A
shit.
lot of people think that you guys are probably just like on a set. They don't think I don't know. I didn't know if you guys were really in your backyard, but you really are. I do have to ask, have you ever had any problems with the neighbors doing this?
So, and the funny thing is, at my house is where we started filming it. It's the Montessori school on one side, and Richie's on the other side. So it was pretty easy early on.
Nice.
And then Rob is pretty close to those neighbors. I don't know how he knows those neighbors, but they've never said anything.
Okay,
and we had a
cool.
band in there a couple weeks back, and we were banging.
They were
Heavy
rocking, huh?
metal.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Did you guys want to? I'm not to change the subject or
Yeah.
anything. I know that you said that you mentioned that you wanted to talk about the A&E thing. I don't know if you want.
Yes, I do want to do that. And actually, that's a great segue. Let's go right into that. So,
I don't mean to change your topic or anything.
No,
but
this is what the show's
if
about.
If you wanted to, I'll just tell you briefly how it went
How did
down.
that happen?
So they were shooting a new A&E documentary in 2019 called Chris Farley, Anything for a Laugh. And I was just hanging out, having lunch with a buddy of mine, and I got a phone call from this lady out of Canada. She said that we're producers. We shoot a lot of stuff for A&E. We're shooting a new Chris Farley documentary. It's the same director, Brent Hodge, who did the one back in 2015 that ran on Spike.
Yeah.
And that one was called I Am Chris Farley.
Gotcha.
So it's just going to be a little bit different. We're gonna actually like do some more. We're gonna do more like interviews with people that are not celebrities, like myself.
Yeah.
Even though I
Local celebrity.
right?
Local.
Tried to be a celebrity for a long time, but they came out
To me,
my,
you're a celebrity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You
Thanks.
are in our heart, man.
I appreciate that. But they came out to my house in Villa Park, and the whole crew was there. And it was cool because one of the guys who was sort of like the sound engineer actually lives in Villa Park.
No shit.
But the rest of the crew, Brent is from Canada, but he lives in New York, and they were from like all over the country. And we shot a bunch of stuff there. And then the next day we went down to Second City, and we shot some stuff. And I actually went up on the main stage and did Matt Foley on the main stage at Second City. And but most of the stuff that we shot wound up not airing on the actual A&E documentary, but Brent, being a great guy and having a huge heart, he said, we have your segment. It's 2.5 minutes long. We're going to send it to you. You can put it up on your YouTube channel, on your Facebook page, and all that stuff, and share it all over the place. So I've been lucky enough to be able to have that segment. I did wind up making the final cut for the actual airing, but towards the end of it, the last minute or two, unfortunately, while the credits were rolling, but they did include me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then but I told Brent, I was just like, hey, look, I get it. I understand you got to get all the big shots, John Goodman and Spade,
Dana Aykroyd is on
all
there.
those guys. Yeah, I understand. You got to let them have their time, and they're the guys. They're my heroes. I get it. I mean, just to be even considered for this was an honor.
Hell yeah.
So, the cool thing about it was, though, I sent him an email. I was like, can you guys at least include me in the listing on the IMDb page?
Yep.
And he did. And to this day, I still look at that. I'm like wedged between like Kevin Nealon and
I
David
looked at it the other
Spade.
day. You got your Bulls jersey on and everything.
Yeah, I'm just like, look
Hell
at
yeah.
it. Sometimes I sort of got, man. I look at it and I go, really?
Holy shit.
Really? Yeah,
And that was only a year ago, or like a year and a half ago. It's got to be blowing your mind still. It's like, I feel like as a guy like you that does impersonates Chris Farley, that's almost as good as it gets.
Well, I'll tell you a
You're
cool
in a documentary about the man that was on A&E. I mean,
this is the coolest. There's another cool thing. This past summer, I was driving around town, and some kid saw my car, and he's like, "Is that you?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You do Chris Farley?" I go, "Yeah, I was in that A&E documentary." He goes, "What's that?" I go, "It was called Chris Farley, Anything for a Laugh." He goes, "Is that thing on Hulu?" And I was like, "It's on Hulu?" And I got my phone out, and I'm like, "Gee, it's streaming on Hulu." I was like, "I didn't even know."
hell yeah.
I was like, "Yeah."
Well, the funny thing is me, I watch everything Chris Farley. So when that thing came out, I watched it, and then we started talking to you, and I knew that you were going to come out, so I started to research you a little bit, and I'm like, holy shit, I watched that when it came out. I'm like, I remember this impersonator. I'm like, and we got this guy come on the show. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you one last story, and then I'll let you guys take your show back.
The show tonight is pretty much about you.
Well, thanks, man.
Keith has been doing a fantastic job and giving me more than I expected. So thank you, Keith, for being amazing.
Thank you, Keith. You guys are all awesome. Well, the last story I wanted to tell you guys was how I found the original Matt Foley jacket, which is not the one I have tonight.
Okay.
The original one, which I got back in 2004, I still have it, but it's been beaten up and ripped and sewn and ripped and sewn so many times that it was irreparable. You couldn't fix it anymore. You could not fix it anymore. So I still have it hanging in my closet, but it's got big holes. You could actually see it in the biography.
Yeah, it's ripped in the back.
It's all ripped up, man.
Yeah.
But here's what happened, and this was the weirdest thing. This was a sign from above, whether it was from Chris or my guardian angel or whoever it was from. I walked into the Salvation Army in Villa Park, Illinois in 2004 looking for a pith helmet, a safari helmet to wear on WGN Morning News when I was working there doing skits. And I walked in, and the first thing I saw on the men's rack was the Matt Foley jacket for $7.
Wow.
And I just said to myself, what the F? I go, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, and I try it on, and it fits.
Like a goddamn glove.
Yeah, and then the following week, the week after that, I was supposed to go get new headshots. And so I'm like, you know what, man, I'm bringing this with. I'm just going to dress up like Chris. And, I had done it a few times, but with another jacket. I put the jacket on, and I did my hair back. I put the glasses on, the khaki pants, the shirt, the tie, and I got in front of the photographer took the pictures, and I looked at him, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm starting to look like Chris Farley.
You really do.
So I put him up on the website, and then, dude, I swear to God, that $7 investment. I've performed. I've done Matt Foley all over the country. I performed. I got flown. This dude flew me down to Houston, Texas, to have me perform at his son and daughter's bas mitzvah.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday Night Live themed bas mitzvah, which is a bat and bar mitzvah together, boy and girl.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was just like, and then I flew out to Connecticut. I played at the big casinos out there, the MGM Grand, and I did a show with who's the girl, the dancer chick from the blonde girl. She's a singer.
Britney Spears?
No, she was on Dancing with the Stars.
Stefani?
Anybody know?
A blonde chick that was on Dancing with the Stars.
Who was Dancing with the Stars? She became a singer, like a country singer. Anybody know?
We'll get it for you in a second. But
She's a famous chick. I'll send you.
Klein?
No. But
check that out for us, guys. If you could, research that and that tent for us, young Jamie.
When you ask for help, just ask the universe for help sometimes. Like, who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be a stand-up comic? I mean, I took that as an answer. It was like, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but I was supposed to do Matt Foley. I don't know.
Julianne Hough?
Yes, Julianne Hough.
Julianne
Hough. I did a gig with her. I did a gig with Dick Vitale down in San Antonio.
Really?
Yeah, Dick Vitale. I'm out there doing Matt Foley. I look in the audience. Dick Vitale is sitting there. So
he's a diaper dandy.
Yeah, this crazy shit. So I've had so much good luck doing it. The first time.
So you were saying when you got that coat, what year was that?
It was 2004. But I had been doing Matt Foley and Chris Farley in my stand-up back for a few years.
Okay.
And then So I mean, and then Jeff Hoover, one of the producers over at WGN, asked me to come on the morning show one day and just do something wacky. And I was just like, how about Farley? And this is like 5 years after Chris had died, and it was 2002. It was a year after 9/11.
Okay.
So like the news. Remember the news back then?
Didn't stop.
It was like every day new levels of terrorism.
Yeah,
and, every day
The orange level was horrible.
How many airlines have collapsed? How many businesses have gone out of business? And so they needed some comedy back in the. So they brought me on
we need
there
it right now as well.
It's like
a great moment for some comedy as well.
everybody needs
Absolutely.
to laugh.
Because
Thank you guys for having me on, man.
And
Thank you.
for making this episode amazing,
Cheers.
as well as Keith,
Cheers
as well
to
as
you guys.
Richie.
Thank you for
Cheers.
doing what you
You
do.
guys know how to do it up. Free beer. I love
Hell yeah, that's all we can offer at this point in time. But we can't offer that and Jimmy John subs
it. Thank you.
all day long. Hey, man, another quick question was, you're talking about you got to go on the main stage for that A&E. Now, when you were in Second City, I know I went to the main stage to watch. I never got to go perform.
Yeah.
Well, actually, our graduation episode was on the main stage for 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you got to go back there, was that at your end of your Second City career? Were you doing shows on the main stage, or was that you didn't get there and then?
Well, like you, I did my graduation show there.
Yeah.
But I also was down there every Sunday for 4 months as part of the Second City's Children's Theater.
Okay.
I don't even know if they have that anymore.
Okay, yeah.
They used to call it Sunday Fun Day. No, wait. They used to call it Sunday, the Little Bastards Fun Day.
No way. Is that for real?
That's right. How dare they? The Lord's
Who's
Day.
naming these things? That's fantastic.
I swear to God, that's what they
We
called
might
it.
need to hire them as a writer.
That's what they called it. And I have, unfortunately, I have a babysitter that I have to go visit and get my child. So I must bid you adieu.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a little break on that, and we're going to be coming back maybe with another segment. Not quite sure at this moment. If we don't come back, keep stoking those fires. Thank you guys so much. We'll see what we got time for. Maybe we'll come back out with another panel. But we really appreciate everyone
Thank you,
tuning in.
Matt.
Keep subscribing. Keep liking if you like what we're doing. Check out Matt Kissane and all of his comedy pages. Matt, before you leave,
Rock and roll!
what are all the different things you're on? Plug yourself. Where are you at? I know you're on Facebook, but what are the other things we could check out?
Okay, yeah, I got a bunch of Facebook pages. If you want to hire me to do Chris Farley, I got a Chris Farley impersonator page. Best thing to do is just go on Google, type in Matt Kissane comedy, and just navigate from there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, gayporn.com. All that stuff.
That's where I've seen you. Woo! I knew I saw you somewhere.
Was it?
Did I just say
that? I'm naughty.
I think it was Kneeling Altar Boys Part 4. Was that
Okay, well, we'll give him a break. Matt's got to get out of here. Thank you so much. Maybe we'll come back or not. We'll see what happens. Bonfire Banter signing out. Bonfire Banter, we're back. We were unsure about we were coming back or not, but we just want to keep giving you more and more content. That's what we're all about here on Bonfire Banter. So Keith is trying to get his guitar strumming fingers working here because we are in 18 degrees. I don't know how cold it is out here right now. 21. Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome.
So whenever you're feeling comfortable, he's got a little parody for
A
us.
snippet.
A little snippet. You give us as much as you got.
Maybe make it into a song competition. So
Okay, I like this idea because
I don't-
and the song is what?
well,
The original.
the original. I called him Rem growing up.
Are you? Yeah.
Rem sucks, man. And I was a metalhead growing up.
Yeah.
But REM, they did that song. It's the end of the world as we know it.
I think we all kind of know that one. Yeah.
I wanted to make a
Popular
parody, and I want you guys to make a parody because I think it would help humanity if everyone realized how awful this person is and the people he mingles with.
Is he still alive?
I
don't know.
I don't know, but he was friends with our former president.
Yes, Mr. Bill
And-
Clinton.
right, and
They're
he-
buddies.
and he was
Him
also-
Chris Tucker.
And he's also friends with the guy making the vaccine, Bill Gates. So I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe
fun.
we shouldn't trust those guys anymore. You know, like Bill Gates, he can't even keep a virus out of a computer. Why is he in charge of? Anyway, I could go
Why did he
on.
all of a sudden become the leader
Yeah.
in the vaccine knowledge? I don't
Right,
know.
he's a nerd. Like Microsoft, and you're a guy. Like I mean, come on, dude. I'd be like,
Yeah, he was feeling. That was like, he named it, and it was just him feeling inadequate.
I'm like, geez, I'd name my company like Giant Hard On or something. Just like,
You know what I love about that is that Elon is so. He knows he's such a badass that he named his company the Boring Company or Boring Inc. or whatever the hell it is. Like, you got to be a baller to name when you're a guy like Elon and name your company Boring Company. But
anyway,
whenever you're feling ready for this thing,
it's only gonna be a couple. Maybe the
anything you give us
whatever.
is gold.
So this is called Epstein didn't kill himself, and we know it. And then ... and I'm not fine. Or we're not fine because I'm not fine about it. But,
I think all of us have some questions.
we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think there's some questions.
There's many questions. So I guess the intro, it's a little rough. So maybe
Let's see what you got.
The ears. So let's see if I could. Let me get the chords down.
Let's
with
see what we
these
got.
Tundra-like conditions
Yes.
in the fingers. So
I got the feet warmed up.
right, those are
You guys are into foot fetishes. This is
those
the show
are
for
beautiful
you.
feet.
Thank you.
Just
I've never gotten a pedicure. These are just naturally growing nails.
let's.
I mean, is this not?
do you keep your pants on? Pants optional?
Well, I mean, other people have foot fetishes.
Mani pedi, okay, whatever, you know. So I guess it goes. It's just. See,
Tell us how it goes.
all right.
Let's hear it.
It's not great when it starts with anal rape. Ouch. Elites on Jeffrey's aeroplane, and I'm feeling not okay. And then it kind of goes in the verse. He goes, eyes on the media, listen to your stomach churn. Elites serve their own needs, don't bow down on your needs. A Hollywood dose, adrenochrome, no soul. Mad Hatter's got to statter with the fear of truth of light. Right. Desire in a liar represents them pushing pain. And Hollywood for hire is a trafficking site. Lefties pushing pedo, gonna worry with good parents breathing down your neck. It goes, it's a little rough, I know. I can't really sing and play right now at the same time.
No, but I tell you the truth that I think the lyrics are hilarious.
There's more to it, so I'm encouraging everyone to make their own because I think the most important part of the song is actually the chorus and like the post-chorus where, so the chorus is...
Give it to us.
Right, here we go. Epstein didn't kill himself, and I know it. That's how I forgot to... Okay, there's three chords. It goes, Epstein didn't kill himself, and I know it. Epstein didn't kill himself, and I know it. Epstein didn't kill himself, and I know it. And there's that part where it goes, let's see if I can read. How about no more pedos? So that's the part I really like because I think if everyone sang that from the rooftops, we wouldn't have this weird problem of elite circles of society like doing creepy things to kids.
I couldn't agree more.
Right, and so I'm just a maintenance guy that doesn't have a job, and people look at me.
You might have a job after this, Keith.
Well, people look at me like I'm the problem. I'm like, no. These people are the problem.
Yes.
I'm just telling you the problem.
Yes.
Like, you ever see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're in an insane asylum. I'm just calling out the insane people. It's like when I got medically detained and stripped naked over this whole mask thing. I don't know. I didn't share that with you yet, but yeah, I was medically detained and stripped butt naked because I wouldn't wear a mask.
Really?
And this is what? Yeah, I didn't tell you. Oh, I didn't share this. Okay.
Really?
So I shared with you my carbon monoxide poisoning story.
Yes.
So I had a problem with work at Downers Grove, District 58. Yeah, you're on watch, baby.
Yeah, you're on watch.
You're on blast right now. All right, I ain't messing around. All right. You deny my unemployment claim because of shenanigans. All right, so I'll tell you what this is. So I almost died in a boiler accident. They were at fault. I had a workman's compensation claim, and I won. Like, I didn't even know, like, I could do that. My lawyer was like, well, we want a settlement. I'm like, what do you mean we want a settlement? She's like, remember when you submitted your records to the insurance company for your school? Well, you were supposed to have an appointment. They didn't even see. They just saw your medical records. They're like, we almost killed this kid. Give him some money. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I got $15,000 from him was dying. I'm like, that's what I got. yeah, you $15,000. The world is mine. You know? You just like, I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And you know when they settled? Right before the COVID shenanigans. Okay. March of 2020. All right. So
you're holding me on?
So, I'm like, this is just nuts. Yeah. So I couldn't wear a mask because, one, it lowers your oxygen. Yeah. I have a YouTube video. It violates OSHA. All right. Yeah. OSHA requires 19.5% oxygen. All right. And it dips below that. And I'm like, well, what? This is crazy. You need oxygen to breathe. Yeah. So I kept having
kind of an element of life.
Chronic migraine problems and whatnot. So I couldn't wear a mask. Yeah. All right. So they wanted me, okay, maybe you could go on disability, keep your job when this thing dies down, you'll come back to work. Like, I'll try to get disability. Like, well, you have to go see a mental health professional. Yeah. All right, I ain't crazy. I want to wear a mask. You remember Seinfeld? You must wear the ribbon. Yeah. I don't want to wear the ribbon.
I don't want to wear the ribbon.
I don't want to wear the ribbon.
I don't want to wear the puffy shirt.
Right. That's what I felt like. I don't want to wear the mask. So they made me go to group therapy. I even have a doctor's note. It's in my car, man. And my doctor says, like, yeah, you should not wear a mask. It, exacerbates his migraines. If you need, I'm a maintenance guy. Like, who do I see? Like, I'm the guy that crawls out of like some tunnel all dirty. Like, who's that guy? What are you doing?
I got the black lung.
Like, you look like some like Scooby-Doo villain, like walking around. You're like, who's this weird, dirty guy? Like, I was fixing the boiler. It almost killed me. You know. So they told me to go to mental health therapy. So I'm like, all right. So I'm in this like group therapy, and I'm like, I can't wear a mask. They're like, well, you have to. I'm like, I have a note. I'm like,
I got a note from my mom and my doctor.
Like, Mr. Carter, I got a note, and they're like, no, you can't. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is part of the thing. Like, this isn't helping my mental health if you think it is. Yeah. So fast forward, they gave me a mask, right, like a shield, and there was like a big tight band, and the tight band,
the clear plastic one,
made your migraines worse.
Made them worse. Right?
So the tightness,
right?
It makes sense.
Anything you have on your head, if you're prone to migraines, is terrible. Even for a short amount of time.
Imagine that. Makes sense.
Being in group therapy, I got like, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, am I in a sitcom? I'm like, am I being punked by Ashton Kutcher? Like, what's going on here? So I kind of had a meltdown.
Be so lucky.
And I was very mad, and I kind of berated them. I told them they're all indoctrinated and they can't think for themselves. That's why you're not listening to me, because you can't think for yourself. So I'm like, I'm not indoctrinated. Like, I could think for myself, and I know the best thing for my health is not wearing this mouth diaper, because there's all this bacteria. Like,
South Park has the chin diaper, I think.
So I kind of made him mad.
It's so funny.
I made him very upset, and I left. I threw my mask in. I wasn't violent.
Was it a fire like this?
But I didn't start a fire.
Screw it.
I was just like, whatever. So I'm like, screw this place. I said some things, and I'm going home. I'm like, I just want to get on my mountain bike, smoke a joint, go mountain biking, and just forget all this happened. I get home, Johnny Law waiting for me. Johnny Law. I'm like, all right. He's like, get out of the car. He looks like Ponch from Chips, but like 26, young Ponch, but a fiery Ponch. I'm like,
a young fiery Ponch.
I'm like, I ain't getting out of the car. He's like, you get a car right now, man. He's like, I got a call from this hospital that says that you were a little disruptive and you might be a problem. I'm like, I ain't getting out because you might taser my nutsack. I'm not. I've seen that show. I've seen that show.
Taser the nutsack.
So we're having to stand. This is July. Granted, they told me to turn my car off. Yeah. My windows are up. I'm like, I'm recording it. And it's like 90-some degrees. I'm like sweating. And I'm like having a panic attack. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I seen people just break the window. I'm like, is he going to drag me out? Next thing I know, 8 squad cars at my house.
What the hell?
Oh my God.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't have my girlfriend at the time. We broke up a little while, so I don't have any support. And I'm like, what do I do here? I'm like, let's call my English friend. Like he'll talk him out of it. He's got
fancy.
He's got the accent. He'll just talk to them and just, but he's fun, mate. Just let him out.
I love your accent.
It's funny. I'm like trying to call him.
Yeah.
And he won't answer because he's a graphic designer and he works for high profile people.
Yeah.
And I can keep getting the text. He's like, just come in. I'm like, I can't. The cops are. I'm not at your house, dude. Because I always text him. And finally, I get a hold of him. He's like, man, what you doing, mate? I'm like, the cops. He's like, what do you mean the cops? I'm like, get over here. They're trying to kill me. And he's like, what? And he finally gets there. There's 8 squads. And finally, a cop comes in my window. Ironically, someone I went to high school with. Officer McDaniel, thank you, dude. I remember drinking with you back in the day.
Thank you, Officer McDaniel.
Yeah. Steve came. He told me, he's not crazy. I'm like, so I got out of the car. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, we got a call from the hospital that you were a little disruptive and they're worried about.
Yeah.
I'm like, they pissed me off. They're a bunch of idiots. Like, that's what I said. We're like, all right, well, we have to wait and we have to call the paramedics. I'm like, why? I'm like, well, they have to determine if you need to go to the mental health center. I'm like, what? And my friend from England is like, you people from America are fucking stupid, mate. Like, I'm like, all right.
A little bit.
So the officer's like, I talked to him like a normal person. I'm like, I was pissed off. I might have said something, but I just want to go mountain biking. They're like, we'll let you go mountain biking, but we have to have the paramedics. So we're shooting the shit. I even offered him coffee. I'm like, you want to come in?
Try to be a nice guy.
Be nice. I'm to show him not crazy.
Yeah.
So paramedics come. They're like, all right, talk to them. Sweet talk them.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I'm like, oh, we got to talk to the hospital. I'm like, the people that aren't here?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta. So like, okay, they come back like, oh, we got to take you in. I'm like, take me in. I'm like, what are you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
Like, so I go in the back of the ambulance. I didn't resist because like I said, I want to get tased in the nutsack. You know? And back in the ambulance, I'm like, and then the fear comes in. Like, what is it? Are they taking me to the gulag or something? Like, where am I going, man? I'm like, I don't know where I'm going.
Hell yeah.
And I get in this place, this big parking garage. I open up, I'm like, all right, what are they gonna do with me? I'm like, I know I say some outlandish things on Twitter and I got banned before, but what, black choppers, what's going on? You know, your mind starts racing.
Like a Goodfellas episode. You're like, oh.
So like, all right, come follow me, Mr. Swine Turd. You know, like it's Swyenburg, but yeah. I follow him. Like, all right, take your clothes off, give me your phone, give me your wallet. I'm like, can I call anyone? Like,
what is this?
Like, what is America? I'm like, America, Trump, baby. Like, like what? I'm just like,
casual.
So,
all right, well, you're just
right. This is perfectly normal. What's happening right now?
You're just stripped down. Give me everything out of your pockets. You know, this is how you're gonna go. You know, man, you're just gonna bend over. So
I did bend over.
See you later.
Pull it in a little bit.
I didn't bend over.
That might get a little bit.
So then what happened?
Yeah.
You know, I want to show him the man that I was, so I stripped naked. I'm like, all right.
You're like, this is me.
Hey,
birthday suit.
What, like, don't be probing me or nothing, but I don't have anything.
Yeah.
They took everything. Like, everything. I'm like, no one knows where I'm at.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where I'm at, man. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
this is weird. I'm like, I hear stories where well, maybe they want to experiment on somebody. Like, and then all these dark thoughts. Like,
Yeah,
like,
you're feeling weird.
if you ever have done a psychedelic,
Yes,
and
I
you
have.
and you go in the dark.
No, I haven't.
Only in the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like
I've
sometimes
looked at a couple toads.
you go to those dark places and you can't get out of it. And I thought, I'm like, don't go to that dark place where I start to panic. I'm like, no one's listening to me. Like, are they going to start inoculating me with stuff? I was in there for 5 hours. 5 hours. And the lady that was in charge to release me, she must have been from Center Earth. She was a giant. She was so big. I'm like,
was her name Helga?
It was. It was Helga the Horrible. And she was a giant of a woman. Like an Amazon woman.
Help you.
And I'm like, all right, you have to be nice. You can't be your jag-off self that you get your mouth gets you in trouble so much, Keith. Be nice to the giant, you know? So she comes in. She's like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "I just want to go mountain biking. I think there's a huge misunderstanding.
Just want to go mountain biking.
Can I have my clothes back?"
You misunderstand that for some things.
She's like, "Well, I heard that you were a little outlandish." I'm like, "Yeah, I have a temper,
Yeah.
She's like, I sweet talked her, and she let me go. But before that, I'm thinking, before she saw me, I'm like, all right, I got a gown. I'm like, I think I could Shawshank myself out of here. And I'm like, I kind of know where I'm at. Shawshank Redemption.
Where you like they tunneled out?
They escaped through the prison. Prison.
You just dig a hole out?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna break it. I really thought, I'm like looking at all the light fixtures. I'm like, I'm a maintenance guy. I know if I can get into the ventilation system, I'm home free. I can get on the roof.
Yeah.
I could see for miles on the roof. I'm like, I'm around cornfields. I'm like, I know where I'm at. And
Those
I'm
crop
thinking,
circles,
yeah.
Watch over those.
I'm looking.
That can lead
my
your
only,
way.
Thing I know about cornfields is I run naked backwards through the cornfields.
It's
but
fun,
that's just
right?
my own thing that I can do.
Yeah, it's fun on Tuesdays, right?
Yeah, only on
Tuesdays. See you next Tuesday.
Twisted Tuesday. I mean, what the fuck?
So they ended up letting me out,
Okay.
but
Good news.
I'm like, this is like mental health therapy for you? Like, what are you doing?
Sounds terrible.
So of course I call my English friend to come pick me up because I don't have a car, and he's just talking to me like, man, what's wrong with our country? Like, this is therapy? Like, you thought that was something that would help me? And getting stripped butt naked and being detained against your will
Doesn't seem cool.
No, man, it's not. Especially in
bend
America.
over and cough too?
Like, no. That would have maybe been a bonus.
Oh, no,
Consider how low
what do you
I
mean?
was.
They do
I'm
that
like,
in
all right,
jail? What are you talking
if you
about?
can't beat them, join them, or
Yeah, right.
something like that.
So really quick though, Amanda, we haven't really introduced Amanda or Jess. And Jess is, just a person that makes us sound way more professional than we are. Thank you for everything you do, by the way. And like Matt Kissane tonight, for example, just thought that we were so much more professional than we really are. And it's
This is
mainly
high
because
level,
of
man.
you. So thank you for that. And Amanda, thank you for jumping back out here. There's a lost episode, a little snafu. We won't talk about it too much, but we've always wanted you to come back on since then, and my guilt is powerful.
Poor.
But really quickly, before we get out of here, first off, I know you've sat down here before, but why do you keep coming back out here? What's alluring to you? You just like the people? You like the fire? Or what's?
That's a good question. Why do you keep coming back?
Maybe about that fire.
Is it this the fire? You just like the smell of bonfire.
Yeah, right. It's like brings back a little piece of home.
Nature.
Yeah. Where are you from again?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. What part of Wisconsin?
Black Creek.
Where's that at?
About 45 minutes from Green Bay.
North or south?
20 minutes from like northwest, and then
Wait a minute.
Appleton is like 20
Appleton.
minutes south.
Can I interrupt you?
So,
My
yeah,
parents have a place in Door County, Jacksonport.
Yeah, that's kind of south of us, so that's about like a
So
either it's a 45-minute or an hour and a half. I can't remember.
That's south of where you're originally from?
Yeah.
So you're like
it's about
Sister
3.5
Bay?
hours from here to up.
Right.
Like
So
when
where
I go
are you?
home.
What town you say? Clear Creek? Fish Creek?
No, Black Creek.
Black Creek.
Not Bear Creek.
One thing I want to ask you though, hey, I'm a huge Bear fan, die-hard.
Bears.
We have 4 teams left in this whole thing in the
Come
NFL.
on.
No, I'm not going where I went last time.
who's gonna win the Super
but honestly,
Bowl.
I honestly want to know. I know you're actually a legitimate Packer fan, and you should be. You grew up in Wisconsin. I can't ever. As someone that grew up in Chicago, loves the Packers, I could easily shut all over them. You're not that. You grew up in Wisconsin. You root for the team. It's a hometown team. That's what we all do. Are you excited about this weekend? What do you think is going to happen in the game?
I mean,
your team's got a good shot.
They're gonna pull through it. It figures as soon as I move away from Wisconsin, of course.
Right.
Some of the best Packer parties are probably up there.
Hell
all
yeah.
the bars and stuff, they give out free shots every touchdown, and
Oh,
you
do
got
they?
free food. Yeah.
See-
no one cares about masks up there. I mean, nothing really changed. We were so unaffected by this COVID thing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like we were super sheltered up there. I mean, I came down
a
here
little
and
more-
like
there's not as many people, it's not as densely
yeah,
populated.
it's just like the way
Woodsy
that it's
people.
shut down here. Like there's
Woods.
nothing like that happened up north.
Right.
Like everybody was kind of joking around. I mean, nobody wore masks really. Like no
More
one
nature
enforced
people
it.
up
So
there.
have you been to Lambeau?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my sister got married on Lambeau, and I touched the grass.
Way.
Wow.
Jess, why don't you
Yeah,
sign the
but we took pictures
Sure.
in the bleachers and stuff for like all the bridesmaids and stuff.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So have you seen a game there though too?
You know what's funny is I've never seen a game.
Okay.
It's a weird like you gotta know somebody that's had it in the family for a while that has those.
Like season tickets.
Yeah, that's what it is. Season tickets.
Well, because
and then they hook up their friends.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
if
kinda
you
gotta
don't
know
know somebody that has the original season tickets, it's like you're not getting in. They don't just sell them on Craigslist or any kind of
it's
shit.
crazy
Like,
too, because like the population of Green Bay, we drive through it because we got a cabin up in the UP of Michigan.
Oh, I love the
So we
UP.
go through Green Bay every time just to go through it. I've always seen it off the highway, and to me, it's a museum of football.
Right.
You know, it's like, so my buddy actually just literally 2 days ago, he's a big Packer fan. He's from Chicago, so he's the ones I can easily hate on because he doesn't deserve to be a Packer fan. There's no reason why he should be. And so Matt Dalrymple, if you're watching, fuck you. And fuck the Packers. But Amanda can root for him because she's actually from Wisconsin. So you're not, and you don't deserve to be. And you should be a Bear fan, so don't be a dick. But anyways, we drive through all the time, and it's just like one of those things that the reason I like Wrigley Field is because there's the city of Chicago, and then you have like neighborhood, and then there's this huge stadium, you know. And I think I love about Lambeau is that it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah,
you're driving down, you see like some just a neighborhood and a couple of businesses popping around, and then you see this freaking mecca of football sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. Like, so he had asked me the other day, he goes, hey, next year, he goes, 2021, he goes, do you want to go see the Packers or the Bears at Lambeau? And I immediately said, I'm in. I've always wanted to do that trip. I'll go as a respectful fan. I'm not going to shit there and shit on it. Like, it's literally like seeing the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that restaurant they got in the Lambeau, top notch, dude.
It's in the stadium?
Yeah, it is. I actually had it because my girlfriend I networked with, she worked as like a prep cook. No, a prep cook in that kitchen. Oh my God, 1919 Tap. That's what it's called.
Is that the year that they were founded? The Packers?
That's what I'm kind of wondering. No, that would make sense.
Makes sense.
And like they got bomb ass beer on tap, and then they got just like a bunch of awesome food. I mean, like freshly made, that kind of stuff.
I did go to the Brewer Stadium in Milwaukee, and they had fantastic food. I had a fucking brat from there with their like the house spicy mustard that they got at what the fuck is that, Miller Park. Is just you can't buy this shit. It's like amazing, and I love the food in Chicago and stuff like that. But to go, it was the first stadium outside of Chicago that I ever went to, and I still haven't really been to many. But it was Miller Park up there in Milwaukee, and goddamn, great place to see a game. And I'm so excited for next year to go to Lambeau. I hate the Packers, but I respect fans of the game, and I respect people that came. You root for the hometown team. I can't hate on that at all. But that's awesome.
How you planning to get tickets though?
No, well, you're saying that it's like just there's only so many season ticket holders, but
I mean, like in the box seats. I mean,
no, definitely not. I don't got that kind of money. Wow. But I don't know. He's saying that it's. I know it's going to be a little expensive. He was saying like $130 a ticket. So I don't know. I don't really know much about
That sounds about like average, yeah.
Yeah,
I would say so.
That's for an NFL game. It's pretty much there. But Jess, I want to ask you one quick question before we get going. We've been kind of putting together this little comedy episode here, and what did you think? What was your favorite part of tonight, as far as what happened here?
Oh man, tonight was really awesome with having Matt Kissane out and with having Keith out, and there was just so much comedy. I really liked I really liked seeing the live Matt Foley impersonation. That was just crazy. It's like watching Chris Farley.
We were talking off camera.
It was like watching an SNL skit.
Literally, none of us will ever get the chance to see Chris Farley live. Mm-hmm. That was the closest thing anyone will ever get. And like in America, in the world, I don't know that there is a better impersonator of Chris Farley than the man that we just had out here on our Bonfire Banter stage.
Right.
Than that guy. I mean, like, what a fucking privilege.
Right.
Like, honestly.
Great performer.
So thank you again, because I had reached out to Matt after you did, and you had answered so many of his questions, and I heard that, he's a professional.
Yeah.
He had a lot of questions to answer, and you didn't know what you were going into on that call.
It's pretty intimidating.
Right?
Like, he was like a legitly famous person.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to make sure that he felt really comfortable coming out here.
Yeah.
with us. I wanted him to be as prepared as he could be to know what the night was going to look like, what the expectations that we had were, what his expectations of us were. And I think he came out and ended up having just a really good time.
It seemed like it, right?
Yeah.
When he left, he was so complimentary.
He was just the nicest guest, too.
We've yet...
comfortable.
One thing that I am so happy about, that we're so blessed as a team, we have never had someone come on this panel and say, that was awkward, that sucked, I don't want to come on again.
Right.
And Matt Kissane, in my name, and from what we've done so far, I was the most nervous to have him out because I wanted to impress him.
Right.
I was like, I wanted to make sure that he saw us as like, we're taking this seriously. Yeah. We're taking this seriously. We're not fucking around. We're not some we're just using iPhones out here. We've invested some money. We care. We really want to be good at this, and we're trying our best. And we got a team that is giving up every single Saturday to come out here and fucking put on a production for whoever's watching, and we're all giving up our Saturdays, and everyone here isn't getting paid.
Ooh, I think I would change that. I would say we're investing our Saturdays. Because really, like with having Matt Kissane out here, not only did we, want to make sure that he was liking us and wanting to be part of the podcast, and we'll hopefully share about his experience on the podcast, but we also wanted to make sure that we were not a hindrance to him. He talks a lot about the importance of when you're starting something like this, when you're in the entertainment business, how important it is to network, and you need to be there for other entertainers, and they need to be there for you. And because that's what's so great about this whole thing is because when you're building each other up, everybody succeeds. Yeah. And it's like just this great teamwork. Right, exactly. Yeah. And so it's such a cool thing to be part of such a positive team-oriented atmosphere. Yeah. And I think we were asking earlier, Amanda, why does Amanda keep coming out? I think that's what keeps bringing these guests back out. It's it's a team.
I see it from a different point of view because I really want this thing to go. I really care about it, and any thing I get into project wise, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna try to get better every week. I watch these episodes and try to judge myself and try to get better. And I was literally wondering, I don't know what I met you through Wes, and you've come out to a couple different episodes, and you guys seem to have fun out here, and it's Saturday night, and you could be doing other stuff, and I know it's not as much with COVID going on, but you choose to come over here, and we really appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed that you guys keep coming back and helping out any way you can, and jumping in when we fucking, you didn't know you were going to be on the panel tonight?
No, that was scary.
And we go, oh, Amanda, get on the panel, and you're like, okay. And Jess, same thing. It's Jess doesn't love jumping on the camera, even though she's now doing her job on a camera every single day. Yep. But that's not her thing. She doesn't, Jess didn't start this thing saying, I want to be the female face of Bonfire Banter. She likes doing her part of it.
But here I am.
But we want to highlight the hell out of you, Jess, because you're a huge part of this thing, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
Grassroots.
And the one thing is, we did have Amanda sign this at one point, and because of what happened on the last episode, we don't need to talk about that much, but I want you to sign it again. You're going to be the only person. No, you're going to be the only person that signed it twice. Honestly, Amanda, I want you to please
friend.
Sign it twice. You're going to be the only person that ever signed it twice because the episode we had around didn't air, and I wanted to sign it on camera, and I think it's something that...
You were funny.
I was a drunken asshole.
Here too.
Well, I'm just going to sign my initials
down the road. Down the road, we might release some of that footage if we're much more legitimate down the road.
When we roast you.
Yes. And one thing we've talked about is maybe
this is all about networking, though. I like that because that's kind of like that restaurant stuff. So that's how I found a lot of my good jobs in my day was networking, hooking up with people I used to work with, hey, you're a head chef over there, let me get a pastry job or something. Or hey, I'm working over here, we need a part-time line cook, so come over here. Yeah. And you just get them in, they don't even, you just got to give your basic information. You don't have to sign all that stuff. Yeah, right. Your history was and go through the process of being hired.
You're right about that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's so interesting. You're talking about networking, and we're thinking about how people have come together on Bonfire Banter. And while we had very different intentions when we were starting out, that you were talking about with the debate style and all that, our intention now is to be a podcast for the people and to give them a platform to speak. And so I think that, through having a lot of the same people kind of coming through and coming on and talking, that we are hopefully achieving that. And for anybody who has not been on but has been thinking about it, there's a place for you on the panel. And there's no topic that's off limits. So if there's something somebody wants to come on and talk about, please contact us and let us know. And we'd be happy to have you on.
Sorry to cut you off. One panel that we really want to do here soon, and we're booked out to like the end of April, but we are, last week we had shot 2 episodes, and I want to do a smaller segment here soon with education and talk about, e-learning versus in-person and what's going on. And Jess is in the education field, and she's busting her ass to be the best teacher she can, given all these new restrictions and stuff like that. So I want to give her a little clap for being a teacher in this day and age. What a fucking tough time to be a teacher.
Thank you. We appreciate
Everyone
that.
in my family's a teacher, except me. I'm the weird maintenance guy.
We're getting a little long-winded with this whole thing. We want to say thank you to everybody. Bonfire Banter, keep stoking those fires. Thank you both for coming out of this segment. And Keith,
thank you.
Thank you for realizing that, take a chance. Maybe you get murdered, maybe you don't. You didn't tonight.
I've had a lot of near-death experiences.
Yeah,
this is very pleasant. It's been great.
Anyone out there want to jump on the panel? There is no topic too small. There is no opinion that is insignificant. Come out here, jump on the panel. We'd love to have you. Bonfire Banter signing out. And like I said, keep stoking those fires.